So tell the viewer what you're having, Kalia.
Ice cream.
What flavour?
Banana. And
Chocolate.
yes.
Inshallah, it's chocolate.
Inshallah.
And this is the main reason you wanted to come and escort me around this filming session, in the hope you'd get some ice cream.
Yes.
Yes. And I've got a shy. Well,
Ice cream.
yes, I know you do. But quite curiously, they've used a Lipton's tea bag. And it's usually the Egyptian loose tea, which I quite like. It does taste nice with no milk. So I'm putting a little bit extra sugar in this one. But I can drink shy or tea without milk, it's no problem. So, and of course you're handy, close to the Nile, you just throw your tea bag over. That was a joke. Okay, that's it for now. A bit later after we finish this shy. Okay, I've moved away to launch a formal and public complaint. But first of all, I'll show you one of the most famous boats on the Nile, a dahabeah. I'll zoom in a little bit on it. They're based on the very old-fashioned cruisers, but they are expensive to hire. But they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 night cruises. And the curious thing about these vessels is once they get a certain distance up the Nile, they're actually towed. They don't go on their own steam, so I don't see the point of that. Okay, my formal complaint. Now I'm going to go right over to the far side of this and pan across to show you how big this area is. And there's only Kalia and I and one lady, no other customers. Okay, so this is how many empty tables and chairs there are, right? And there's the lady. Can you see her? There she is, sat on the table next to ours, and she's just told Kalia, would you ask your English friend to go and smoke somewhere else because the smoke is blowing in my face. WTF. She could have sat anywhere, but no, she wanted something to complain about. No wonder she sat on her own. End of moan. What do you think, Kalia? There are hundreds of empty chairs and tables to sit at. She sits on the one next to me and tells me to move with my cigarette.
Yes, I think she's a fussy.
Fussy?
I think so.
Well, I think between the two of us, considering she's a big lady, we could get her over the fence into the Nile.
Yes. That's why we keep quiet.
Yeah.
And the smoke, it's not even go on here.
No,
you know?
I'm
And
what,
it's
15 foot away from her?
It's open area. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I think
Yeah. Her problem is she's probably had no jiggy for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I'll let you lot watch him work out what jiggy means. And now she's phoning up the local police to complain, the anti-smoking police. Oh, oh. Shukran, Habibi.
Shukran, Afwan, Habibi.
Okay. Turn off for now. I want to have my tea in peace. Now a bit of good news here on the top deck of the rowing club. There are
I don't think you can video
toilets.
because,
Yeah.
to cover in the camera.
Yeah, I know. Which are just behind me. And they're clean. Western style toilets as well. Just a little bit of info before we head off. And that's the lower corniche, which we'll be joining via these steps. But I have left a few of the narrow format shots on to either tag onto this or a separate vlog, because there are some interesting points that obviously I'll not be able to repeat because they happened then and they won't happen now. So we're going down to the lower corniche. This refurbishment was completed around about 6 years ago. The Egyptians like it down here, strolling along the summer nights. You do tend to get a little bit of hassle from the touts for the motor boats and for lucas, and they're the type of people that don't know the meaning of la shukran or no thank you. But today it seems relatively quiet. What all these are, I can only guess that they intend to be shop units, but with the lack of tourists, I don't think there's much point in paying a high rent when you won't be able to sell many or if any goods. Well, there used to be many shops originally down here, and it was a thriving business, but obviously the cruise boats were berthing up here, discharging the passengers, so they had a lot of foot trade. Then they were demolished to make way for the refurbishment. Just one of them things. They do tend to keep the upkeep okay, except for, you know, patches like this. Dangerous to walk on, especially when your name's Alfie. Not too bothered about tripping over again, but I don't want to break the phone. And that's the west bank over there. We of course being on the east bank. Tends to be more rural on the west bank. There's thousands of acreage for fruit and vegetable cultivation, cows, sheep. Don't know what that guy's doing. Looks like a barbecue.
Yes, it's a new restaurant.
Oh, Kalia just informs me it's a new restaurant that's opened. Of course, I'd have noticed the guys standing outside were dressed as waiters with the little dicky bows. And then I would have noticed the table and chairs, which are obvious. But I'm not the sharpest pin in the box concerning observation. But the Nile is really calm this morning. Not like when I filmed at the back of my house, it was really choppy. Saba clear.
Just looking.
Drink something.
Drink something. Cola.
Yeah.
Eat.
Yeah. 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 Excuse me.
When you come back.
On our way back, I'll have my
You come-
cappuccino.
Nice,
I like a
okay.
cappuccino.
All right. Okay.
Shukran.
Afwan.
This is just ornamental. There was water coming off it originally, but I've only seen that once, and it was quite nice. But the Egyptians use it for seating, for that romantic moment. As you can see, there is water in it, in this lower one. A few fish would be nice. But this is not real stone. It's like a fiberglass compound on mesh and then varnished. But to be honest with you, it looks the dog's bollocks. It looks really authentic. Of course the stones are genuine stone. Brushing up, keeping it tidy. There's the mountains in the, I was going to say distance, but they're not that far away really. 1,000, 1,500 metres, something like that. But there's a haze at the moment, so not a very good view. Here's another restaurant. None of these existed when I last walked along here, about 2 years ago. There's Mr. Alfie in the window. Hello, hello.
There, the sign.
Yeah, it's in direct sun, that. Abdu Zaid, the name of the restaurant. Oh. Salab. Yeah, there's one little shop open. All the rest, as you can see, are vacant. But it is nice and quiet and peaceful down here. I say the last time I was down here was 2 years ago, and I swore blind that was the last time because the hassle I had to put up with. And one or two became quite aggressive in their attitude when I said no thanks for whatever service they were trying to sell me. And 4 or 5 years ago they had a problem with drug sellers down here, and I think the local traffic police, tourist police rather, received so many complaints they did clear them all off with extremely stiff penalties, 5 to 10 years in the calaboose, which is Arabic for jail. And if you think the stories concerning the Bangkok Hilton, the conditions are severe, you really do want to experience an Egyptian prison for Egyptians. If any foreigner breaks the law, like recently the English woman that was discovered smuggling 350 tramadol into the country, she got 2 years imprisonment, but in a soft Western type prison, although still quite harsh. She supposedly brought them over for an Egyptian husband or stroke boyfriend that suffered from a bad back injury, but in actual fact he would have sold them for 100 Egyptian each on the streets, which then would have been about £8 a tablet, which is a small fortune, especially if you've got 350 of them. She's back in the UK now, so this was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, so she's probably selling the film rights to a story. But to give her some due, it was only 3 months prior to her travelling into Egypt with these prescription drugs that Egypt made them illegal and call them a Class A drug, because there's a big problem in Egypt with tramadol sales. Before then you could go into any pharmacy and just buy them over the counter, but now it's a strict no-no, stiff penalties. Some local kids about to do whatever they've come here for.
One tablet, 50 pounds.
Oh, Kalia's just told me now the price has gone up. Oh no, there was, yeah, £50 now, but they were 100 Egyptian.
For one tablet?
Yeah, one tablet, yeah. So the price has actually come down. Yeah, but when you understand the now scarcity of the tablets in Egypt, that usually elevates the price. But now you're saying the price has come down to £50 a tablet from 100.
No, I mean the strip was 100, like, you know.
Oh, right.
Tablet, but now one tablet from this 10, 50 pounds.
Ah, I'm sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just remember it stating there were 100, so it was 100 Egyptian for a strip
Aywa,
of 10 tabs.
aywa,
So now it's £50 for one tab.
yes.
Okay. Never had any interest in my life in drugs and the taking of. I didn't really take much notice. Fight. Hi. Again, empty shop units. And another calf.
تمام تعال. Welcome to Luxor.
Hi, shukran. Doing some work on it. La shukran. Walking today.
You walk on the Nile, come.
Yeah.
Good drive.
No, it's only Jesus did that. I can't walk on water. That shukran. What? Oh, little Egyptian trinkets, yeah. Yeah. Not today, thank you. I think maybe when I come back, I think. See, I've been seen better ashtrays thrown in a skip. Sorry? No, I'm just doing some filming. Yeah. Oh, it looks like these have been taken over, but that might be explainable because they lower down the corniche to the more popular end. Those are the local motorboats. Yeah. As Kalia just said, the water of the Nile is much lower. You see where that blue plastic is? That's low, and high would be basically where that mooring point is.
Yes.
But that's about 4, 5, 6 months off yet. There's one of the motorboats. I'd say you can hire them for 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever you want. And like everything else, it's cheaper the more people are in the boat. The guy selling peanuts and his seeds. Yeah, peanuts and seeds. Yeah. Shukran. And the boats with the masts on are feluccas. Again, you can hire them, quite cheap prices. Yeah, well, they don't water gardens here, they just flood it.
Yes,
That's deep enough to have fish in it. And now I have to try and fight my way through this mass of grown-up rugrats along the soggy grass. No problem.
يا حبيبي
ايه
تمام
كله تمام.
الحمد لله. اي لعبه ب10.
Little stove.
اي لعبه ب10.
Two birds enjoying a bath. Now one. Yeah. لا شكرا.
Very good.
Just walking today.
Walk like Egyptian. Photo, Egyptian people.
I'm on video.
That's captain for a boat.
Yeah,
Photo.
I don't want to cross over
Where
to
from?
photo.
Okay. Where you from?
England, but lived here 12 years
Nice. Where here?
in Karnak.
Karnak.
Yeah.
Your flat or villa?
Villa.
Nice.
You married here?
لسه.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. When you get pestered like that, it's best for Kalia just to point to a ring on a finger and say she's my wife.
Two.
Or two rings.
Here.
Or two wives. Yeah. Those are solid gold. Very expensive.
Market? Market?
La, English.
What's that an hour? Look at selling?
No sailing, thank
They
you.
would like to say hello to you, but they don't speak English.
Shabakir.
بقول لكم صباح الخير. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you? بقول لكم ازيكم.
Tamam? Very good.
They would like to take photo with you.
Of course, yes, no problem.
But with her phone.
Yeah, with her phone, yes.
اسمه عبد الله هو.
Come on, come on. Oh, do you want to take the photo? So
انا اخذ لكم الصوره وانتم تصوروا انتوا الثلاثه ولا ايه رايكم براحتكم عايزين تصوروا واحده براحتكم زي ما تحب. طب ازاي؟ عشان انا
come
كده
on.
ولا كده؟
Squeeze closer. Squeeze. Come on.
يعني قربي. 3 صور.
Okay.
شوفيهم برضه.
Let me see.
وري له.
Oh, handsome man.
من انجلترا. انجليزي.
Yeah.
انجليزي. جوزك يا خالتي؟ لا يا حبيبتي لسه. شغاله معاهم. لا شغاله معاهم.
You want another one?
Yes, she like another one with you.
Come on then.
بصي معايا.
Okay.
واحدة ثانية. She like another one.
Another one.
Very famous today.
تعالوا لو وياك.
Okay.
كلامي جميل.
Have one.
Thank you.
You good? You're welcome.
She's like you now.
Yeah.
احنا في الازهر.
أنا حبيبتي أنا عارفة المعهد الأزهري أختي كانت فيه بس كانت في العوامين. في العوامين. أهلا وسهلا من فين؟
احنا مبادئ معهد فتاة البيضين.
أهلا وسهلا أحسن الناس حبيبتي. الله يخليك ربنا يجينا لكم الصحة رضوانية يعني مش غربة يعني. تمام اهو بصي كلنا بلديات كلنا بلديات ماشي سلام يا بنات سلام مع السلامة
مع السلامة.
عايزين أي حاجة؟ ماشي مع السلامة.
That's just another example. I'm so popular with the ladies. I know I keep saying it, but I have to keep reminding everybody. Photo shoots and marriage proposals. La, shukran. So now we're at the end of the pleasant walk. And we're going to go up this ramp back onto street level. There are stairs. And Andy will be pleased to know it is disabled accessible. She'll be showing all the family now that photograph when she gets home. And the father will be saying, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, you met Englishman. Where he live? Find him, he looks very wealthy.
I think she put it in the internet.
Yeah? Oh, I'll be famous. Soon to be appearing on a computer near you. This annoys me, all this crap and rubbish they leave lying about.
They start to do the continue.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
they're working on it. So, I don't know what. But hopefully, as Kalia's just said, they finally extending the corniche, which they promised to do 15 years ago. Salam alaikum. They really are spending a lot of money on it, and it's going to look really good. I do like a digger. It's a little bit hazardous under the Alfie's feet, as you can see. So I'm keeping one eye on the camera and one eye where I'm walking. Yeah, things are looking good for Luxor. But this new corniche was supposed to go up to and past the rear of my property in front of the Hilton and up to the Sofitel Hotel, which from this point would be about 3 kilometres away. Now the full length was cancelled, mainly due to costs, I think. It would have been a terrific cost, but maybe now they've been lucky enough to get some
It's a nice
EU
day.
grants. Wonderful, wonderful.
Maybe later boat ride.
Not today, just walking and filming today.
Okay, enjoy yourself, sir.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
inshallah.
We're not hustling you. We need the tourists
No,
to
no,
come back.
no problem. Costs nothing to talk.
Thank you so much, sir. It's very kind of you.
Now, many years ago, when there was up to 20 of us, we used to have a drink or three on that, the Sunset Lounge. And then it closed about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and it was made into a wedding venue, which sort of killed it for us, because it was a very pleasant place to have a drink in the summer months, although the top deck then was not as you see it now. It's a lot better now, but it's good to see that it's reopened. Not that I'd use it, because I don't drink alcohol when I'm in Egypt. Kalia had gone so quiet, I thought she'd fell into the Nile. That building there is the local government offices, as we call it in the UK, the local council office. That's where the administrative hub is for the whole of Luxor, the seat of the governor. Looks like somebody's burning sugar cane over there. Luckily there's no wind. Believe it or not, even though the distance is great from there to my house, sometimes my garden gets covered in black ash, which annoys the hell out of me. Yeah, it certainly looks like they're extending the corniche, Kalia.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. They've gone right the way along now. That'll be really good 2 or 3 years when it's all finished. Maybe I come back and do another full length vlog. That's if I'm still alive.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Some of the local police chewing the fat, wondering what they're going to do today. Should they do the job? Or just stand about doing what they're doing now. Well, I made a mistake before actually when I said that was the local governor's office. It's not, it's that one there. But that one is part of the same complex, but that's where the governor lives during his working day. It is approachable if you've got a problem. You can book an appointment. Oh, they've gone right the way along there. Yeah. Hi, Kalia. Oh, that's a rare sight. Some tourists. I don't remember seeing any of this work being done the last time we walked along here.
No, because we don't walk.
La, shukran.
There,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
There.
yeah,
That's why we can't see what's happening down there.
yeah. I'm glad I discovered this. This is the problem when I don't get out of the house and walk around. This filming's given me a good opportunity to get out and about for a bit. So I do tend to live like a hermit.
You like to do this street?
No, that's too much hassle along there. That's the entrance to the tourist souk. It only stretches the width of the buildings, about a 5-minute walk. But the hassle down there used to be really, really bad. La shukran, just walking today, thank you.
Later perhaps?
No thank you.
Tomorrow?
Maybe, inshallah. Now you're okay. God, you just can't start talking to him. No wonder I smoke so much, keep my stress levels down. Well, at least they have give us pretty fair parking. It'd be terrible for parking along here, but there's loads of spaces for cars. There's no parking allowed on the riverside here. Just like my cigarette. You know, I'm stupid. Because when I was having my photographs taken with those girls, it was on her camera, not mine.
Yes, it's her phone. She like to keep it with her, you know?
No, I should have got you to film it.
Yes.
I never thought. I was so excited.
Yes. 3 beautiful girls.
Well, I don't know, the middle one wasn't exactly
know.
beautiful.
I know. The fat one.
Well, actually, yes, she did have a nice face.
You see? Very simple.
Yeah. And granite. But it's low grade granite. That Philippe jeweler, he was mega wealthy. Gold shops all over Egypt, and I don't think he's got any open now in Luxor since the revolution. He used to have a gold shop here. It was owned by a guy called Yorkshire Bob, and he did talk with a Yorkshire accent because he'd been married to a Yorkshire woman for several years. He had the gold shop prior to the marriage. Anyway, it went tits up when he came back to Egypt. But he was a very humorous guy, good sense of humour, and he did tend to give you the promised discount because you were a Western visitor. Now, if you happen to mention that your family hail from the Yorkshire Dales, it was a good discount. So over the years, it's amazing how many visitors to Luxor originated from the Yorkshire Dales. I think he cottoned on after a couple of years. There was that many people saying they came from the Yorkshire Dales and he'd never actually met any of them. He began to smell a rat. Well, you're very lucky if you manage to get one over an Egyptian. Here's one of the 2-foot curbs. You have to go down sideways. stupid to have them this bloody high. Oh, there's no chance you getting across there, Andy.
Good wind for Faluka today.
La shukran. There's no wind today.
To visit Banana Island, Crocodile Island.
Oh, I've been to Banana Island and Crocodile Island many times. They keep moving.
Okay.
Banana Island.
Keep it to make a nice trip in the night around.
No, not today. I'm just walking and filming for my friends today.
So you're going to West Bank maybe?
No, I've done West Bank because I live on this side.
Okay, I invite you for a couple of tea in my Faluka.
No time, thank you. Got a very, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. He'd have got on his felucca, he'd have weighed anchor, and before you knew it, he was in the middle of the water flow. Cup of shy in one hand, and your wallet in the other. But this Banana Island they're on about, it used to be quite a pleasant tourist trip, and it was an island, banana plantation. They had a little cafe on site, you could have a drink, and they insisted on putting a massive bunch of bananas on your table, and every time you ate one it was 3 Egyptian. Well, I love bananas, and I thought, oh well, it's a paid for tourist trip with the shy, which is tea, so the bananas will be free. La 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 la. £70 banana bill I had by the time I got back on the boat. Now that villa there has an interesting story. I don't know if the sun's on the screen. I'll move a bit closer. It's owned by one of the wealthiest Egyptian families in the country, going back to the 20th century. And they own this Banana Island, which I was about to say before I noticed the villa, that this is Banana Island number 5, because they keep moving it. And they also grow cannabis between the bananas. Anyway, 10 years ago, the 2 spinsters sisters that lived there for many decades were found murdered inside. They were in the 90s, multiple stab wounds. It suggests if the motive was robbery, because they were supposed to have quite a collection of gold and jewellery. The police were never able to make any arrests, and it's a shame really. It's just lay empty since then. I think it was about 12 years ago they were murdered.